Hi, my name is Miss Melissa, and I am a teaching artist in the PACE program. You might be watching this in your classroom, or you might be watching this at home. But no matter where you are, we are going to have lots of fun today. In your ELA class, you will be learning about early Asian civilizations along the Indus River Valley. And I am here to show you how to draw this today using lines. I am going to tell you a story about this place while we draw, and I may even ask you some questions. Please answer the questions in a quiet voice if you know the answer. When we finish drawing together, we will color the whole picture. You will have a landscape when we are all done. But before we start, you may be wondering, what is a landscape? So I'm going to show you that right now. And I just have some different pictures. Now these pictures I have are from just different photographers. A lot of these photographers work for National Geographic, which is a magazine, and they travel the world and take beautiful photographs. So here you can see a picture of the mountains. This is actually in Japan. I'm just going to show you a couple of landscapes. And then here we have the canyons, this is actually in Australia. And here we have a desert in Libya. And this one, I know you know what this is. You've probably been to the beach several times, huh? This one is in the United States. It's on an island. And then here we have another landscape with the grass and some trees. This is in the state of Iowa. So you may have noticed that these landscapes have there's two things that you see, and I'm going to show you two more. You have the sky and the land. If you take a look at this one, you know, where I showed you the sand, do you see a lot of sky or a little bit of sky? Very good. You see a little bit. Some landscapes have a little bit of sky, and some have a lot of sky. Look at this one. This one has a lot of sky, right? So all landscapes are, you know, they can be created differently. Now I'm going to show you a few more, because today we are going to be drawing the valley, okay, of certain places in Asia. And here is a great landscape of a valley. Well, what's a valley? Well, basically a valley has to have mountains and the land below. People live in the valley, you know, below the mountain. And so you can see the houses here and all the trees. Okay, so watch, I'm going to show you another one. Here is a really good picture of a valley further away. Like you can, you know, see it. You can kind of see down way back there are the mountains, and you could see the pieces of land and all the houses. So we're going to make a valley today. So I also told you that we're going to learn about Asian civilizations or early Asian civilizations. And you might be thinking, well, what does that mean? Well, early civilizations means that people lived here a long time ago. And we need to see where Asian civilizations are. So I have this map of the entire what? World. Very good. This whole area right here. This whole area, this is Asia. So when we talk about early Asian civilizations, it has to be a place in this big piece of land. So the two, and let me get my glasses so I could see, that we are going to learn about, there's two countries. One is, and I'm going to kind of guess, right here. This is China. Wow, this is a pretty big country. You're going to learn about people that lived in China a long time ago. And then this purple one, this is India. You're also going to learn about people that lived in India a long time ago. Now, early on, this area right here was part of India. This is a country known as Pakistan. So a long time ago, India was Pakistan and India together. So I want you to pretend that we're going back in time and we're going to the land of India, okay? So the first people settled here. Now watch. Right alongside of China and India, do you know what there was? There were these really big, tall mountains called the Himalayas, right on the border, all along the border. And they are the highest mountains in the world. And one more thing, there was this river called the Indus River, and it ran all the way through India and China. So China and India were able to share the Himalayan mountains and the Indus River Valley. So I want you to pretend today we are going to draw a picture about right here where the river and the mountains in India connect. So what you're going to need today, let me show you your supplies. You are going to need, and let me get them off my table, one white paper to draw. You are going to need some pencils, like 1 or 2 pencils, and your assorted box of crayons. Now you can pause the video and go ahead and get your supplies, and I'll see you in a bit. So now that you have your supplies, we are going to draw the Indus River Valley. But before we start, since we're going to be using lines, I want to go over the lines that you have learned with me so far if you've been watching me. So, and if not, let's just start. So these are our 6 basic lines. Lines are always in art. Here we have a what? Straight line. Very good. This one is a, and you can make these lines in the air with your imaginary wand or something. So we can go, do it in the air with me. This is a zigzag. Very good. This one, now the zigzag line, has a lot of diagonal lines. Look at this one. These lines go up and down and side to side. See? So this is called a jagged line. Say that with me. Jagged line. So we have side up, side down, side up, side down, side up, side down. You can keep on going. And these all, come from straight. These come from curvy. So just like I said, this is a curvy. Very good. You can say it with me and do it with me. This one is a wavy line. Very good. And this one is a swirly line or swirl, and we have a special type of swirl called a spiral. We are going to use all of these lines today, except we don't need this one. All right? So now we can get started. Go ahead and get your pencil. All right, now you are going to be using a pencil. I'm going to use a pen so you can see. Since we're drawing a landscape and we're making the landscape of the Indus River Valley, we need to make the sky. So this is a straight line. I hope you could see it. So here we have the sky, and this is all the land. Now, since it's the Indus River Valley, do you remember the name of the mountains? They were called the what? Himalaya mountains. So we're going to make Himalaya mountains using this zigzag line. Go all the way down, touch the line, go up, all the way down. It kind of looks like what shape? Very good. Triangles. You can have little ones. You can put 2 big ones next to each other. So let's go ahead and make our mountains. And then we're going to use the zigzag lines to make the snow. because the Himalayan mountains were the highest in the what? The world. Yep. And you know what happened? What happens whenever the sun would heat up the earth? What would happen to the snow when the sun would heat it up? Very good. It would melt, right? And that was one thing about this valley. Let's go ahead and draw a sun in the sky. The river would flood because of the snow melting. So far we have the Himalayan mountains, and I went ahead and added the snow, and I used the zigzag line for the mountains and the snow. So you can go ahead and finish drawing your mountains, and don't forget to put your sun in the sky. And then after we draw the mountains, we're going to make the river. If you remember, India and China shared what river? Very good. The Indus River. So now we're making the Indus River Valley to show how the people lived below, the mountains and alongside of the river. So now let's use a curvy line, and we are going to draw a river, the Indus River. So I'm going to put my marker right here and make just a little curve, okay? Right underneath the mountain. And I'm going to come around this way, just make a slight curve, just like that. We're using this curvy line. And then I'm going to put another line next to it. Do you see that? It's another curvy, and I'm going to follow the pattern, but as I go down, I'm going to get bigger and bigger. I'm going to move the line further, because in a landscape, the things on the bottom get bigger, just like that. Now, and here's the Indus River. We're creating the Indus River Valley. Now look at this. Do you see this line? That is a wavy line. Water has what? Waves. Very good. So we're going to make some tiny wavy lines in the back. Some may be like, really short, and then some could be long. And then as we move down, they're going to get what? Bigger and bigger, to show that it's really close to the picture. And just go ahead and draw a couple of wavy lines. You're doing a great job. Now, one thing that you're going to learn about is that these people that lived along the Indus River, they wanted to grow a lot of crops, and they wanted the water to reach the crops. So you know what they did? They actually dug into the ground and made these trenches. So where the water would move out from the river into these trenches to reach the crops. So I want you to pretend that we are going to dig all along this piece of land. We're digging in the dirt, and there's going to be like a trench or a canal. That way the river will fill this little trench up with water. Do you know what we call that? So this is all going to be water. You can make some little wavy lines to show the water. This is called an irrigation canal. Let's go ahead and make another irrigation canal and pretend that we're digging in the dirt. That would take a long time, wouldn't it? It's a lot of hard work. And so if we're going to draw irrigation canals, we need to draw crops, don't you think? I think so too. You're going to learn that wheat was a very popular type of crop for the early civilizations to eat in India. So let's go ahead and draw some wheat. Wheat has these tall stalks. I'm just going to draw what type of line? Very good. straight lines, some tall, some short, and at the end of it, I'm going to draw an oval, which is made with curvy lines, just to show the wheat crop. See that? And then now I'm going to draw some maybe in the back, just some lines. I just want you to use your imagination. What do you think wheat looks like? I've never actually seen any up close. You can just draw straight lines, a couple curvy lines, make some grass, and there's some crops there, and right, and the water's going to be able to get to it. Let's go ahead and draw some more crops. I don't know about you, but if you're ever riding in a car, did you ever look out the window if you were driving? If you're, well, not you, I would hope you're not driving. While you were in the back seat of the car, maybe you were looking out the window while your mom, dad, maybe grandmother, grandfather was driving. And if you ever drove in the country, did you ever notice any crops in the fields? I don't know if you ever saw that, but I have when I was little, and I remember there being lots of rows of dirt. So right under, so I just drew two curvy lines, right? We are going to show lots of rows of dirt. So let's just keep drawing some curvy lines. This is going to be all brown. We are going to make some vegetables grow in the dirt right here. And let's put some, maybe going some different ways. Maybe we can put a different kind of plant over here. Let's make some rows going that way. I'm using curvy lines. Same thing up here. I want you to get your curvy line, and let's maybe draw some curvy lines going this way, just to show that there's going to be crops growing in the fields. So far, we have some irrigation canals. You have some wheat growing. We're showing rows of dirt and different types of plants that we're going to draw. And now we have one part left, and that is to put a city. So keep drawing your rows to show crops growing, and then we'll draw the city in a minute. You know what? I was thinking, do you see the top of the land right here, how the rows of the dirt are changing? Let's go ahead and make that into another irrigation canal. We're going to need more water to feed the crops on the top piece of land and the bottom. So let's go and just pick, just pick your top row. Let's make some wavy lines to go in here to show water. So now we have 1, 2, 3, what? What do we call those? It's what we dug up. We're pretending we dug up the dirt so the water can flow in. Very good. They're called irrigation canals. And then we have our rows of land. Now let's go ahead and draw our city. There was a very popular city called Mohenjo-daro. Now this city had big brick walls that were, the city was enclosed with brick walls, and it protected people, and it actually had this jagged line shape. So let's go ahead and make this city right here in India, okay? So just follow me. And it's going to be about this big. It doesn't need to be perfect. We're going to go up, side, up, side, up, side, up, side. Let's go down, side, up, side, down, side. So it's just gonna kind of run off the page, okay? This city we can pretend is gonna keep going and going because it was very big. Now let's use some straight lines and kind of make like an entrance way into the city. Let's go ahead and put someone standing there. Let's just make some stick people with the circle head, the body, 2 legs, and 2 arms. We're gonna make some stick people today. And do you know what this city was made of? Did you read about that yet? If you read about this Indus River Valley, you're gonna know that it was made of brick. So let's draw another straight line with some little straight lines showing the brick. Do you know how these people a long time ago made brick? Very good. They made brick out of the mud. When the water would get the soil wet, they would shape the mud and let them dry in the sun to make the bricks. And then there were certain people that had jobs to lay the bricks to make this city. Now, if you want to just draw some little straight lines of grass, and some little patches, we could show the grass. Now our picture's missing something, right? What is it missing? I'll give you a hint. It has something to do with growing food, cultivating crops, which is growing. Who's going to be doing that? Very good. People. We need to draw some little people. Now, in a landscape, we're going to draw them very small because the further away, far back you go, or the smaller the people, the smaller the objects are. See, this person's nice and big because they're at the bottom. The further away you go from the bottom, the people get smaller. So I drew some people here working in the fields, planting crops. You did an excellent job drawing, using all of these lines to draw our Indus River Valley picture. Now we can add color. So go ahead and get your box of crayons, and we're gonna color. Now, I do kind of want you to copy off of me a little bit, just like you did with the drawing. But, for example, you could, make your own choices with the type of color. So if I say blue, you can choose any blue. If I say green, you can choose any green. So just get your blue. Let's go ahead and color the river blue, okay? Now, just to make sure I have enough time to show you everything, I may get a little bit faster at the end, and that's okay, because I want you to see what this looks like. If something happens and you can't finish this picture where you are, you can always finish it at home. So I'm always going to be a step ahead because I want you to see what this looks like. So right now I'm going to color, what am I coloring actually? You tell me. Very good. The Indus River. And I just colored what? What do we call those canals that we dig up to bring water to the crops? Very good, an irrigation canal. So go ahead and color those items. Our landscape is coming out so good. And you can pick any color you want for your sky. You could even put some clouds in the sky. I'm coloring my irrigation canals and the river. And with my blue, since the sun is up high in the sky, I'm just going to take my light blue and color it. Now, I'm not going to color the sky black because what? Very good, I put the sun. And I'm not going to color it orange. The sun's not setting, it's high in the sky. So if you put a sun in your sky, you need to color the sky blue. And I'm going to color the mountains next. guess I can color the sun too. So think about, what color are mountains? There could be several colors, right? Mountains can be brown because of the rock. It could be gray. It could also be green because, you know, maybe there's grass growing on the mountain. So I want you to pick whatever color you want for your mountains. I think I'm going to go with brown. And since I have my brown, we can color different things that are brown on our picture. Now keep in mind, Miss Melissa, am going to be coloring fairly quickly because by the end of this video, I want you to see what it looks like. And once you see what it looks like, you'll know what to do when you can color it later on your own if we run out of time. So I like brown, and I'm gonna leave the top of the mountains, what? White. Very good, because that's the snow. Now, if you notice, these people right here are working really hard getting the dirt raised in certain areas. So every other row, because they're growing crops, they're really planting right now, and they're getting the dirt ready and working really hard. And if you ever worked outside in the yard, it's a lot of work, right? A lot of hard work. So every other row I'm going to color dark, and then the ones in between I'm going to color light. And you may have to go back over your little stick people with a pencil, and that's fine. All right, so now you could see the dirt. And then there's one more thing that's brown. Remember, what did they make? What did the people that lived in this Indus River Valley, what did they make the bricks out of? Do you remember? Very good. They made the bricks out of mud. So with your brown, you can color the city. So right now, we have blue, a blue river, blue irrigation canals, because that's the water. I really want you to make sure to color your city brown, because the bricks were made from mud. So everyone needs to be coloring their city brown. And I really wanted you to color the rows of dirt brown to show the process of the workers planting. Now, everything else, guess what? You can pretty much color it the way you want. Wheat is typically yellow, the wheatgrass and the crop itself. So I guess we can color this yellow. Now, after this, you can color what you want, okay? Maybe you want to have light green grass. Maybe you want to have some dark green grass. Maybe every other row will be light green, dark green, light green, dark green. If you remember the photograph I showed you of the, what was it, the landscape where there were valleys and those houses at the valleys. Remember the different colors of the land? There were some yellow fields and green fields in the valleys of that photograph. That's kind of what we're doing. So if you just kind of stop for a second and take a look at my picture, your picture should look something like this. Last thing I need to do is color the sun. Thanks for joining me today. We learned about so many things. We learned about different kind of lines and how those lines can help us make a landscape. We also learned how to use our imagination to pretend that we lived along the Indus River Valley. We even pretended to dig up the dirt so that we can make our own irrigation canals. As you go throughout your week, maybe you will notice the horizon line when looking outside. That was that straight line, remember, that I showed you on the picture? I'm not even sure if I mentioned it, but that's what the horizon line is. It separates the sky from the land. So maybe you can see if you notice that when you're looking outside. Maybe you'll even notice wavy lines in the water or curvy lines in the land. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I can't wait to see you next time.